Hey everybody, so this video was supposed to come out last week, but I just had surgery recently. I wasn't able to talk much, but I'm better now. So before we get this Q&A in session, I would like to thank you guys. Thank you ladies and gentlemen for everything. This channel recently hit 20,000 subscribers. I know this is not much compared to the bigger channels out there, but if you take a minute and actually imagine 20,000 people standing in a crowd, that's actually a lot of people. So thank you everyone for that, and thanks for participating in this Q&A. I apologize if your question didn't make it into the video. I looked through the comment section and got as many as I could. Also, just a quick note, be sure to stay till the end of the video, as I have an announcement to make regarding this channel. With that out of the way, let's get this Q&A started. What are your thoughts on Captain America turning Hydra? I wasn't a big fan of it. My first reaction was literally, "Hail Hydra." Alright, who thought this was a good idea? No, but seriously, I feel like the whole twist thing made it seem like a good idea, but changing the essence of the character like that, I mean, of course fans are gonna be pissed. Though I'm sure they're bound to retcon that whole idea sometime in the future. Butts or comics? Definitely butts. Who do you like more, DC or Marvel? Hose. I like both universes, but if I had to choose one, I would go with Marvel. Mostly because I grew up watching the MCU. Don't get me wrong, I like the Dark Knight trilogy and the two DCEU films regardless of the mixed reviews, but things like the Avengers, Guardians of the Galaxy, and Civil War really makes it hard for me to choose DC over Marvel. Now, I'm not bashing DC, this is just an opinion and oh, he's totally biased. Well, shit. Netflix's Daredevil versus Christopher Nolan's Batman. I'm assuming this is referring to a head-to-head combat question, and in all honesty, I think Batman would win mostly because of all the gadgets he has in his favor. Sure, Daredevil has a new armored suit and a custom-made billy club, but Batman has a Batmobile, a Batclaw, batarangs, and a can of explosive gel. And once Batman finds out about Murdoch's sensitivity to sound, the match wouldn't last very long from there. Do you think Marvel will ever get the Fantastic Four back or bring in new characters into the MCU? As much as Fox has been denying it, with 4 failed attempts at Marvel's first family, there is no way Fox would risk another flop through a sequel or a reboot. So yes, I think Marvel will get the Fantastic Four very soon. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if Marvel and Fox are negotiating right now an arrangement for that. And about them introducing new characters into the MCU, this would not only give us the Human Torch or Doctor Doom, but this also opens up amazing opportunities. If this goes through, we could see things like the Silver Surfer teaming up with the Avengers, Galactus being the next big bad guy after Thanos, and the Thing versus the Hulk. Others though that are already in the MCU but not in the movies, I would really like to see the Netflix characters join the MCU. Maybe not as big as a standalone film, but at least a supporting role. Or hell, even a cameo of Charlie Cox as Daredevil in Spider-Man Homecoming. If you could put 2 characters that haven't been shown on screen in their respective comic universe, who would they be and why? P.S. You can cross movie universes. Again, I would love to see Charlie Cox as Daredevil and Tom Holland as Spider-Man on screen at the same time. That would be awesome seeing them together. If not that, then if Pietro was ever revived in the MCU, then seeing the 2 Quicksilvers bantering would be hilarious. This next user asked several questions, so here we go. Are you excited for the Suicide Squad movie? Yes. Tobey Maguire or Andrew Garfield for Spider-Man? Tobey I like as Peter, Andrew I like as Spider-Man. Favorite Batman movie? I know a lot of people like The Dark Knight, but for me I like The Dark Knight Rises, even though mostly everyone says it wasn't as good as the 2 predecessors. But I watched it when I started getting more into comic book films. Favorite X-Men? Easily Quicksilver. Team Cap or Team Iron Man? Team Cap, bro. Batman or Superman? Batman. Who's faster, CW Flash or Fox Quicksilver? So I'm far from caught up with the Flash TV show. I have watched the first season because it's on Netflix. I don't know where I can binge all of season 2 though. But anyways, by the end of season 1, it is said that Barry ran faster than Mach 2 to travel back in time. In season 2, he probably got faster by I don't know how much because I didn't watch it yet. But even if he got faster by a factor of 50, that still wouldn't be fast enough to catch up to Quicksilver, who saved everyone from an exploding building. Well, almost everyone. So Quicksilver. How dank are your memes? Not that dank. What do you expect from Doctor Strange? Well, based on the whole magic and other world-like theme, I expect it to be a little like the Thor films. It's something we haven't seen before. I mean, we're talking about other dimensions, sorcery, and magic. All the things of which Thor tried to explain as just a science we don't understand yet. For Doctor Strange, I don't think you can pull the same trick here. They can't just call it a science we don't understand yet because it's magic. The dude's title is the Sorcerer Supreme. I don't recall a well-known comedian being cast like Paul Rudd, so this is probably one of the more serious Marvel movies. Though I'm sure they're gonna throw in some stuff to laugh at, because if you make a superhero movie way too serious, then it usually ends up blowing up in your face. Also, maybe expect to see some really interesting imagery as the director Scott Derrickson is a horror director. Do you play any video games? Yes, my favorites include the Arkham series and a handful of first-person shooters. Despite the negative feedback it usually gets, Arkham Origins was a fun game, especially the multiplayer, because you know you just silent took down an actual player and not some random thug. Halo and Left 4 Dead are cool too, really fun to play with friends. Favorite superhero of all time? Hands down, it has to be Nightwing. Favorite Marvel character? In the movies, it's probably a tie between Captain America and Black Panther. In other sources of media, like comics and video games, I lean more towards Black Panther because he's awesome. Who is your favorite playable Arkham character? Again, I'd have to go with Nightwing. How powerful is Dr. Manhattan and could he destroy the universe? I'm gonna be totally honest here, I do not know anything about Dr. Manhattan. I haven't watched Watchmen yet, so my input basically means nothing here. But I'm gonna give you an answer anyways. Maybe. Why are you so smart? This was probably not meant to be answered, but thanks so much. I don't think I'm as smart as some of you believe because there's a lot of stuff that I still don't know. Like that last question, for example. I literally just looked up who Dr. Manhattan was on Wikipedia to know a little more about him. But thanks again, it means a lot. Do you like superheroes? I probably do. Are you excited for the Justice League movie? I gotta say, after watching Batman v Superman, my expectations did go a bit down. It's not that the film was bad in my opinion, it was alright. And that's what the problem was. I was just expecting it to be great, or at least good. But I just found it alright. Nevertheless, I still liked the film, and I'm still looking forward to Justice League. Now I wrote that last part I just said the day before the trailer came out. So after seeing the trailer, my hype just went way back up. Still, it could get a very mixed reception, but I'm still hyped. And though a lot of people hate the Flash costume, I love it. It looks almost identical to what I imagined a movie version of Flash to be. I always wanted them to make a metallic suit similar to that of the Injustice suit. I love the Flash TV show, but I'm still on the fence with the suit. This DCEU interpretation looks like a mix of the new Red Power Ranger suit mixed with Captain America's Avengers helmet. Other than that, I'm kind of a little sad they said that Cyborg's costume is gonna be all CGI. I was hoping that the close-up shots would have some practical effects on him so it would look realistic. Because if you saw Civil War, you know the CG in that film wasn't perfect. Specifically that one shot when Tony confronts Cap at the airport. That close-up shot of Tony wearing his armor was a little jittery. You could see the glaring contrast between the CG suit and the real Robert Downey Jr. because of the close-up shot. I'm not sure if that was due to time constraint or if that was genuinely the best they could do with our technology, but playing it safe with a practical mask for Cyborg just for close-up shots would have been great. Can you do a video on Doctor Strange? He's my favorite superhero. That's a great idea, but we'd have to wait until the film comes out to see what this version of Doctor Strange is all about. You are an amazing YouTuber. Thank you, by the way. I used your facts as a conversation starters XD. Anyways, my question is, what is your favorite comic or TV show related to superheroes? My favorite TV show would probably be Daredevil. My second would be The Flash, and third, Jessica Jones. And favorite comic? Well, I don't have one. And no, that's not because I like all of them equally. It's because I never read a comic all the way through.
Oh my god,
I'm unsubbing.
Gubz is a heretic.
Now, that doesn't mean I hate comic books. I don't hate them at all. I just love film, specifically the superhero genre. That's why my videos are mainly about the superheroes in cinema. I get some details from their original source material, the comic books, but I've never finished reading one. Usually when I visit my local Barnes & Noble shop, it's like a bookstore that has Starbucks in it. I read a comic, but usually halfway through, it's time to leave. So if you're pissed and truly think I'm a heretic, then sorry, I guess? Is Quicksilver a mutant or an experimented sample? Okay, so Quicksilver's backstory is very confusing with the whole film rights problem. So in the comics, Quicksilver and his sister were taken by someone named the High Evolutionary when they were still babies. He gave them their powers through experimentation. Quicksilver and Scarlet Witch were tricked into believing that they were mutants when they actually weren't. They were also tricked into believing that Magneto was their father. But that whole concept was absurd, so most people ran with the idea that they were just mutants. In the films, you're given both of these. Fox has the rights to the twins because Fox bought the rights from Marvel at a time when Marvel was losing dough. When Marvel gave Fox the X-Men, they gave them all characters who had a big role in the X-Men group. But since they didn't give specific characters and Quicksilver played a big role in the Avengers and the X-Men, both Fox and Marvel rightfully own the film rights to him. Okay, now time to answer the question. So in the X-Men films, Quicksilver is a mutant. In the Avengers, since they gave the film rights of the word mutant to Fox, he is a miracle, or an experiment. Can Quicksilver outrun Nightcrawler's teleportation? Judging by how fast Quicksilver is and how slow the world looks in his perception of time, yes, I think so. I read somewhere that Nightcrawler's teleportation is actually him going through another dimension and then re-entering our dimension, so I don't think his teleportation is instantaneous. So even if it took half a second to a second, that's more than enough time Quicksilver needs to run past the designated area. Favorite Spider-Man? I know I said earlier I liked Andrew's Spider-Man better than Tobey's, but I liked the one that wasn't on that list the best. It's probably too early to say, but none of the other Spider-Man made me smile as much as Tom Holland did when he was fighting alongside the Avengers. Nightwing or Spider-Man? I like Nightwing more, but Spider-Man would win in a fight. I don't think Nightwing can get past the spider sense. Could you make a video on speedsters ranked from slowest to fastest? I actually really like that idea. Will do. Old Magneto versus young Magneto. Sir Ian McKellen's portrayal of Magneto is very iconic and hard to top, and Fassbender nailed it in X-Men Apocalypse. So I honestly can't choose who I like better. And if you're asking about who would win in a fight, without doing any research, this match could go either way. One could argue that the old Magneto would win due to more experience, while others could say that the younger one would win because he has more strength and energy because of his age. Which is your favorite versus matchup? Flash versus Quicksilver, Deadpool versus Spider-Man, Superman versus Batman, or the Atom versus Ant-Man? Love your videos. Thanks. I would have to say Ant-Man versus the Atom would be a very interesting and unique fight, since they'd be growing and shrinking during the course of the fight, similar to that of Yellow Jacket versus Ant-Man. X-Men or Avengers or Justice League? Favorite movie? I'm for the Avengers all the way, and the Avengers. Why do you remind me of a more nerdier Leafy? not an insult. Probably because I go up close to the mic like this. But seriously, I have no intent to copy him, especially since we have very different audiences and content. But I use that nerdy voice because the super obsessive nerds are just savage. And look, I'm pretty nerdy myself and I make some mistakes, but there are some people on a whole nother level. Like someone literally spent an abundant amount of time writing a paragraph pointing something out wrong from some unknown absurd comic and states, actually Quicksilver is faster than the Flash. That's not the problem though. The problem is that they point out the mistake under one sentence and then spend the rest of the 29 sentences saying how I'm an idiot and smell like a rusty keychain. I mean, bravo dude, good job. Glad your thesis is very clear. And another thing, in one of my videos I said that Cap gets his shield back because of science fiction. It was a joke. I thought I made that very clear with the tone of voice I had. But someone literally commented, "Wow, your research is so mediocre. Cap can get his shield back because he does math in his head." The internet is always full of surprises. What starter did you choose in Pokemon Go? Bulbasaur, but that was because I didn't know what I was doing. I wanted a Squirtle. Which Marvel character can actually beat Superman? Hero or villain doesn't matter. I do believe there are more characters who can defeat Superman than you might think. I don't think you can kill Superman necessarily and have him stay dead forever, because he came back at that one time in the comics and at the end of Batman v Superman. Well, sort of. But beating him or having him knocked out cold, I think could be done by some of the Marvel characters. Off the top of my head right now, I think Galactus could knock out Superman. All he has to do is like, take out the sun and then there goes Superman's powers. And the rest of humanity. Thanos with the Infinity Gauntlet I think could take down Superman as well. And I know this may be a bit controversial, but I think the Hulk could take him down, though speed wouldn't necessarily be on his side. All I know for sure is the angrier the Hulk gets, the stronger he gets. What do you prefer, a comic with a good hero and a bad villain, or a bad hero and a good villain? Of course I would love stories to have well-developed heroes and villains, but that isn't an option here. I prefer the former because we usually spend more time with the protagonist. We're usually supposed to feel for them because they're the hero and cheer for them. We're supposed to relate to their human flaws and the weight of responsibility on their shoulders. That's what good development for the hero gives you, relatability. The same could be said for the villain, but at the end of the day, it's my opinion. Can this question be in the Q&A? I don't know, bro. I'm gonna have to think about that. What college did you go to? I don't think I can tell you that. Not because I don't want to. It's because, well, I'll continue with the next question. There were a handful of questions regarding my age, which shouldn't be surprising since most of my videos are informative. At the time of this video being posted, I'm 16. In a couple of months, I'll be turning 17, and yeah, I'm in high school. What grade are you in? I'm currently entering my senior year of high school. What school did you go to or still going to? Cause I want to say hi, lol. I don't think that'd be a safe idea to put out there, especially since there have been a lot of crazy shit happening these past few weeks in the world. Let's just say I go to a school in the United States. Gabo Verd asks a few questions. What do you use to edit and record? Prior to this video, I used a shotgun mic called the Takstar SGC-598, but for this video, I'm using the Audio-Technica ATR 2100 USB mic. I'm also using a dual-layer pop filter by Lix Pro, I think that was the brand. I mainly use Sony Vegas to do my edits, but for really cool short animations, I use After Effects. Age, sex, location? I already answered that age part. I'm a guy, and I live in the United States. Height? I'm a pretty short dude for a 16-year-old, to be honest. Real name? My real name is Gabriel. I don't really want to give my last name because of that whole privacy issue. How many questions did you get? I don't really know yet. I didn't count them. We'll find out soon enough though. What do you use to edit and how do you get the footage from the trailer? Please subscribe because I want to start a channel just like this. As stated earlier, I use Sony Vegas and After Effects. And for getting small clips from trailers, you can use any MP4 converter. I look forward to seeing you post. Good luck. Great video, man. You deserve your many views. I subscribed immediately, but I'd like to know, how do you get so many views? What is the secret? Thanks, but there really is no YouTube secret. Most of you discovered my channel through my Quicksilver vs. Quicksilver video, which didn't really start blowing up until this past June. I remember posting it on January, and for the first 4 months, it had like 20 views. And then from there, people actually started checking out my channel and found my other content. So as long as you're making the best videos you possibly can, all you need is just one video to get noticed. And that takes patience. Just remember to never give up on yourself. When did you start YouTube? I created this account on August 14th of 2015. I uploaded videos shortly after that, but you'll notice my oldest video online was published on late October. That was because I used to make videos with a camera where I actually showed my face. But I took those videos down and I'll tell you why. At the time, I had 38 subscribers and they were all my personal friends. And I'm just gonna be straight with you right now. My channel was just a complete joke. My friends made memes out of me, but that wasn't why I took the vids down. They were hilarious. I remember talking to my friend one day and we were joking, just having a good laugh, and then without going too much in detail, and long story short, the conversation took a savage turn. One of my friends, whose channel at the time had like 100 more subs than me, roasted the hell out of not just me, but the channel itself and the audience my videos were intended for. And I'm not talking about a little rug burn of a, "Your channel sucks, lol." No. I'm talking an apocalyptic, scorched earth burn with meteor showers of a "your good-for-nothing existence caters towards the amusement of mindless younglings and brainwashes them with the poison into thinking that someone as trash as superheroes are real. Do everyone a favor and get the fuck off YouTube." Now, I'm not gonna say I took this to heart, but I cried myself to sleep that night. The day after, I deleted everything I posted and waited a while before I started fresh without showing my face. And little did I know, that roast happened for a reason. So friend, if you're watching this, which you probably are, thank you. Thank you for crushing my hopes and dreams. What is your nationality? My parents were born and grew up in the Philippines, but I was born and grew up in the US. How do you feel about your YouTube growth? Honestly, it still feels like I only have 38 subscribers. That doesn't mean I don't appreciate you guys, I really do. It's just really amazing of how fast this channel gained viewers, and sometimes I still can't believe it. Face reveal? I did show my face before, but like I said, I took those videos down. There are a couple of reasons I don't like showing my face in these videos. Number one is because it's too tedious. You may have noticed that I speak pretty fast in my videos. Well, the whole process of that is just reading my script and then editing. I sometimes stutter and I end up finding myself reading the same sentence over and over again to try and get a recording without stuttering for your sake. And then what I do in the editing room is clip the audio in between breaths. That's why it sort of seems like I barely take a breather in my videos. And adding a face cam or a video to that would kind of take away the magic of it all, because then you'll know when I use jump cuts and the whole video would just look really poorly cut unless I put extra effort in. But if you're asking if I could just show a still picture of my face, I'm pretty sure if you lurk around in this channel long enough, you'll see what I look like. How the hell are you doing? I'm doing pretty dandy, how about you? Is researching this stuff fun for you? Well, you see, sometimes. It depends really on the topic. If I really feel passionate about a topic, then yeah, I enjoy spending time on it, but sometimes things can go wrong. I do a lot of explaining in these videos, and doing research video after research video does get a little annoying. Seriously, it sucks when even Google can't find an answer for you. So for a break, I post reviews and maybe even a video based on pure speculation. So is it fun? Yes and no. What's the average time for research in these videos? Love your videos, editing's amazing. Thanks again, and it usually ranges from several hours to a few days. And most of the time it's not really easy work. There are times when I'm about to publish a video when I realized I forgot to clarify a few things, and then I gotta record, edit, render, and then upload the same video just for the addition of one new sentence. What's your favorite X-Men? Since I said Quicksilver earlier, let's go with the question of what my favorite X-Men movie is. I would have to say Apocalypse, but Days of Future Past is a very close second. Favorite Marvel movie? I don't think anything will ever beat the Avengers for me. Favorite Marvel and DC movie? You already know what it is for Marvel, but for DC I'd probably say The Dark Knight Rises. Favorite comic film? Avengers. Flash or Quicksilver? Not in speed, but which do you favor more? Quicksilver, because I've seen him more on the big screen and I really love both interpretations of the character. I don't hate Grant Gustin, he does an excellent job as Barry Allen, and Ezra Miller looked amazing as the Flash in the new Justice League trailer, but I prefer the two Quicksilvers. Favorite hobby? Really anything with my friends, playing video games with them, swimming, or just wandering around and eating at Jack in the Box because McDonald's only accepts 3 local high school students at a time. Seriously, who the hell made this rule? Is your name Luis? No, it's Gabriel. Black Bolt versus Superman, fight to the death. Superman. Who'd win, Black Panther versus Batman? Since I like Black Panther more, this is sort of a biased answer. I'm gonna say Black Panther because he has a vibranium suit and claws. I think if he could get close enough, he'd scratch right through all of Batman's armor. But then again, we did see T'Challa's one weakness in Civil War, which was to electricity. Black Widow was able to slow him down with it. So it could go either way since Batman has his handy-dandy utility belt, but I'm still siding with Black Panther. Which Colossus is stronger, Deadpool's or X-Men's? Judging by sheer size, I'd say Deadpool's. Would you prefer Thanos' gauntlet or Chris Evans' muscles? That's very tempting. Having the choice between controlling people's minds or having immense power. I would want immense power, but I'm gonna have to say that the ability to control minds beats it. So, Chris Evans' muscles. Who would win in a fight? MCU's Cap or DCEU's Batman? ScrewAttack actually made a whole video on Batman vs. Cap and said that Batman would win. What I think though is if it's a close quarters combat, then Cap would win. If the room has dark areas where Batman can hide, I think Batman would win. Can Goku defeat Superman? Again, I don't think you can necessarily kill Superman and have him stay down permanently, but I think Goku does have enough strength to do it, with help. As much Dragon Ball lore you want to throw towards ScrewAttack, and no matter how many Super Saiyan transformations they come up with, I think Goku will always have someone higher than him, and Superman is known to be the highest of them all. ScrewAttack explained it well, but I think Goku could defeat Superman with some kryptonite. But the question is, would he exploit someone's weakness? Or fight them at their full potential? That whole thing kinda changes the scenario. X-Men, Marvel, or DC? Marvel. Will Iron Man come back in Infinity War? I'm 100% sure that Marvel would never leave their biggest moneymaker out of the next biggest Marvel blockbuster. Superman versus Quicksilver in a race. If you're talking about the X-Men movies, Quicksilver versus DC movie Superman, Quicksilver. If not, then in everything else, Superman. Most dangerous X-Men character? As far as the movies go, and if we're only talking about the members of the X-Men group, it'd be between Jean Grey and Quicksilver. With one punch, Quicksilver could obliterate you. And we saw Jean kill Apocalypse in the most recent film, and some of her friends in The Last Stand. Why are you? This is a very deep question. Wow, this made me rethink my life. In regards to TV, movies, and comics, which do you prefer, Marvel or DC? Again, with my whole background with comics, I don't think I can make an opinion based on what I know. But for movies, Marvel. And for TV, I haven't watched all of Arrow, but I've seen several episodes, and I really don't like how they're trying to make him like Batman. But I love The Flash very much. And Daredevil and Jessica Jones are the best. So I loved 2 Marvel shows and loved 1 DC show and thought Arrow was just decent. I'd say I like Marvel more on TV. What got you into comics? Well, after the Avengers, I started getting more into the whole lore. It wasn't until my friends and I scheduled a sort of like last day of school 8th grade graduation hangout and we watched Iron Man 3. I still loved that movie regardless of that whole Mandarin twist because of that memory. After that, I started looking up more on Iron Man, and then from there, the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Which do you like more, X-Men Quicksilver or Avengers Quicksilver? I know I'm in the very vast minority, but I like the Avengers Quicksilver more. After watching Days of Future Past and Age of Ultron, it was very clear that I liked the Avengers incarnation more because number 1, I liked his costume more, and number 2, I really love his costume. I mean, seriously, dude, his muscles are popping out like grapefruits. Oh my gosh. Seriously, Evan Peters' costume looks so absurd, especially the hair. It was an obvious wig. It looked super gelled down and almost unnatural. And reason number 3, I like what Marvel did with his trail of blue aura. That was very creative and it looks amazing. Also, I didn't find his accent as annoying as others found it. Now, I'm not saying Avengers Quicksilver is faster, I mean, that is completely incorrect, but I just like him more. This decision, however, was harder to make after X-Men Apocalypse because Quicksilver's hair started looking more natural, like actual hair, not a wig. He got his very own costume, got a super cool extended scene, plays a more prominent role this time around, and is pretty quippy. He was much more likable for me in this film, but I'd still have to say I like Aaron Taylor Johnson's version a tad bit better. Who is better, Hawkeye or Green Arrow? I'm gonna say Hawkeye, even though there are gonna be an ass load of people who disagree with me. What came first, the chicken or the egg? Lol. The chicken. Does Iron Man's repulsor blasts have more power than Superman's laser beams? Since Superman's power is essentially limitless, I don't think so. If you put Thor's hammer in an elevator, would it go up? Can Magneto pick up the hammer? Yes, the elevator would go up, and I'm not sure if Magneto would be able to. According to Nerdist, he should be able to with magnetism since the whole science behind it relates to fingerprints. But Matt Pat from the Film Theorist says that Magneto can only manipulate a few types of metals, not all. So if Thor's hammer is made up of one of those metals, then yeah, but most likely not since it's made from Asgardian metal. Don't quote me on that though. I didn't do any research on that. What do you think the main reason is as to why Spider-Man's logo is white in the new game? Probably to symbolize a fresh new start in the franchise and to differentiate itself from the other game series and films. Would you rather have an adamantium skeleton without claws or vibranium shield? Taking the claws away kinda takes away the fun of having the adamantium. So, 1 vibranium shield, please. Who's richer, Tony Stark or Bruce Wayne? I read somewhere that Bruce was the 3rd richest comic book character. He's worth like 9.4 billion, whereas Tony Stark is the 2nd, worth 12.4 billion. The richest is Black Panther. He's worth like a ridiculous 90.7 trillion. That's all US dollars, I think. How will Superman come back in the DCEU? I feel like we may not see him until halfway through the Justice League movie, when the heroes are getting wrecked and then he comes in and saves them and acts like a guardian angel in his new black suit. If you could have 1 superpower, what would it be? P.S. Love your work. Thanks, and after watching all these superhero stuff, I'd really love to have super speed. If you could have 2 powers, what would they be? I'll stick to super speed and probably want super stamina. Invisibility plus flight or super speed plus super strength, and why? I choose the latter because that is the ultimate wombo combo in my book. Don't get me wrong, flight and invisibility would be cool too. If you could be any superhero, who would you want to be? I know I said Nightwing's my favorite character and Black Panther is pretty up there too, but I'd probably want to be Spider-Man, even though there's nowhere to swing from where I live. How hard would Ant-Man's punch be if he grew at the same time? That would really depend on how hard he wanted to punch, because remember in the Ant-Man film, Hope said that the punch could be like a bullet if you went full force. This actually might make a pretty good video topic. Favorite supervillain? The Winter Soldier. Do you think the X-Men will ever come back to Marvel? Maybe not full rights, but I think they will make a deal, maybe how Sony and Marvel did theirs. How would they merge Fox's universe and Marvel's? If you're referring to avoiding reboots, then that is highly unlikely. Marvel usually likes to reboot stuff to make sure people aren't confused about the timelines, but let's just say for the sake of this question, they don't want to reboot with the X-Men. What they could do, this is all speculation by the way, is introduce and use the different dimensions that come with Doctor Strange's character. From the trailers, we know we're going to get some freaky stuff like buildings colliding into one another, so seeing other dimensions and parallel universes couldn't be out of the question. In some of the other universes, the X-Men exist, and for some plot-fulfilling reason, they get stuck into the MCU timeline and universe forever. This is a very bizarre and absurd tie-in, but I just came up with it on the fly. It makes sense, but it would only cause confusion, which is why Marvel would still most likely just reboot the X-Men. But still, that's my theory. Wally West versus Superman in a fight? I think Wally. Why doesn't Iron Man have a vibranium suit? I think the reason is because it's a rare metal and T'Challa doesn't trust Tony that much in having some. Who is stronger, Shazam or Superman? Superman. How did you start YouTube and what are your goals? I started YouTube with face cam styled videos. I don't really have any goals for YouTube. You watching my videos is more than I could ever ask for on this website. So thank you. How do you come up with your videos? The way I come up with my videos is by asking myself, what would I search up on YouTube? If I have a topic on my mind, I usually type it in on YouTube to see if the topic has already been covered. If it has, then I know I have nothing to add on to it. So then I come up with other topics and rinse and repeat until I find a topic that hasn't been touched on much or at all. Is the Justice League stronger than all of the Marvel groups like the Avengers and Guardians? Why? Yeah, I honestly think so. Once you have the pure strength of Superman and Wonder Woman, the power of Aquaman controlling 71% of Earth, which is the ocean's water, and all its creatures blended with the intellect of Batman, and accompanied by the Flash's speed force, there really isn't much you could do against that. Would you rather have Iron Man's repulsor blasts or Loki's scepter? Loki's scepter could control minds, so I'd go with the scepter. Who is a better Professor X? And favorite Marvel character? I like both, but McAvoy portrays a much more relatable and humorous Charles Xavier, whereas Stewart is more didactic. They're equally as good, but I like McAvoy's more by just a hair. And my favorite Marvel character again would be either Cap or Black Panther. X-Men or the MCU? Why? The MCU because I liked all of their movies so far, whereas X-Men, there are a few that are just not my cup of tea. Who's the most powerful superhero of all time, disregarding gods? I'd say Superman. Would you rather live in the DC universe or in the Marvel universe? Why? Marvel, because I'd be able to get a picture with the Avengers. Also, either way, I'd die because there's Galactus who would probably eat Earth, and then there's Darkseid on the DC side. Not to mention people would be dying every night from criminal activities in Gotham. Will Superman get hurt by Wolverine? Like, will Wolverine's claws break or bend? I think Wolverine could cut Superman if enough force is applied. I don't know if they'd bend though. They could. To be honest, I really don't know, man. What's your outro song? The title is Gersion by With. I probably butchered those two names, but it's royalty free and has a pretty chill beat. Any new versus vids in the works? P.S. Could you do one on the MCU, Spidey? I have several versus matchups in mind for the next one, but I haven't decided yet between two characters. I'll start working on it soon though. As for the MCU Spidey, I don't think I can say things about him just yet because we still know very little about his limits. Maybe after his solo movie comes out. Will you do a Mark Ruffalo Hulk versus old Hulk? I will, but I just don't know when yet. And when it comes out, I'd probably put him against the 2003 Hulk, since the 2008 Hulk is technically the same Hulk as the Hulk in the Avengers. It's different actors and they look different for sure, but they take place in the same universe, and Mark Ruffalo's Hulk even refers to the events that happened in the 2008 film, The Incredible Hulk. What superhero movie are you most excited for? Both Marvel and DC. Love your vids. I really appreciate it, thanks. I'm really excited to see the Avengers Infinity War Part 1 and 2. I heard they were gonna rename both of them, but since 2012 they've been building up Thanos and I'd really love to see where things go. Up next would probably be Justice League. We've been waiting for a while to see that in live action on screen. Can you make a video explaining the X-Men timeline? I was actually planning on doing that, but there are tons of videos on that. I probably wouldn't be adding anything new to the table. Sorry, but you should go check out some of these if you really want an explanation. But seriously, there are a ton of videos on it. Would you rather have Green Lantern's ring or the Flash's speed force? I really think Superspeed is much more practical as you can also read faster, so the Flash's speed force. Would you rather be as fast as X-Men Quicksilver or teleport like Nightcrawler? No hesitation, X-Men's Quicksilver. What made you start wanting to do YouTube? I grew up watching YouTube videos, people that have content very different from mine now, and I don't know, it looked very fun. I was like 7 or 8 at the time when I started watching YouTube, so yeah, it just looked fun. Where do you get your info from? Links for sources are linked in the description of my videos. Google's pretty handy too. What will happen in Infinity War? That's another good topic I think I should cover on a separate video. Who should replace Hugh Jackman as Wolverine? Someone came out with some concept art as Tom Hardy as Wolverine. It looked awesome, so I think he'd be a good pick. Even though I said in one of my videos that Tom would make a good Ben Grimm, he'd also make a good Wolverine. How does Luke Cage have unbreakable skin? He got his powers from an experiment gone awry that someone misused with the intent on killing him, but instead it gave him superhuman features. I'm not 100% sure how that works though. Will you do a Cap versus older Cap in a versus video? That was actually one of the characters that never crossed my mind. That's amazing. Will do. Why don't you upload more? I try uploading once a week and that already takes days of research, so I don't think I would be able to fit any more uploads in my schedule. I know as a viewer, once a week doesn't seem like that much work, but as a content creator, it's an entirely different story. So sorry in advance. Who inspired you? Now I've watched a lot of YouTubers, but only one truly inspired me to keep making videos. The guy's name is BHL Hudson. He made an hour-long video explaining the MCU in chronological order, and he makes some pretty good movie reviews. Back when I had like 38 subscribers, I kind of took a break. I had released my Quicksilver vs. Quicksilver video and Spider-Man vs. Spider-Man video, and they both had around 32 views. Nothing special. I really didn't have any faith in my channel. When I watched one of his videos, he revealed that he was just 14. That inspired me because you don't have to be a certain age to make videos. You don't have to have videos in a certain way to become famous. And you don't have to be famous on YouTube. It's not a requirement. So thanks BHL Hudson for the inspiration if you're ever gonna watch this. Who is your favorite YouTuber? I really love channels about film like Chris Stuckman, Jeremy Johns, and Mr. Sunday Movies, but my favorite YouTuber or YouTubers are the folks over at Ismahawk. You've probably seen their work. They made the Nightwing series, Deadpool vs. Deadpool, and The Flash vs. Quicksilver. Their visual effects are really awesome, but at the cost of taking a lot of time to make a video. I understand though, and they keep their channel posted with hilarious podcasts. You should subscribe to them if you haven't already, even though you probably already have. Now there are a lot of people asking me to make a Flash vs. Quicksilver video. I literally have nothing else to add here. It's been overdone so many times. And even when the famous Screw Attack made a video about it, I thought they were gonna have a reason to make Quicksilver win because everyone kept saying Flash would win. But it was like they were beating a dead horse. There was no use. Everyone always said the Flash would win, and then they conclude that Flash would win. I'm not bashing them or anything. I mean, they spent a lot of time on that. But I'm convinced that the Flash would always win against Quicksilver. When will you let me sub? Whenever you want to, pal. Can I be in the Q&A? If you mean have your comment on the Q&A, I think you made it, buddy. And finally, where did the name Gubz come from? Well, as I've said, my real name is Gabriel, but I was never really called by that name half the time. Usually Gabe or Gabby for short. So how did I get Gubz from Gabriel? Well, it all started one night 5 years ago after dinner, but just before dessert. Little 11-year-old Gabe was playing an unknown indie game called Gears of War by Naughty Dog on the PlayStation PC 360. He was in a party chat with his cousin's dog's owner's cousin. Let's call him Jay. So Jay and Gabe were pretty close friends. Until the match online came down 2v2, Cogs versus Locusts. It was now or never. Jay and Gabe separated. Jay got wrecked pretty hard and got downed. Luckily, he had a grenade in his hand, so he committed suicide next to an opponent. This was it, the moment of truth. 1v1, Gabe versus another player. Jay put pressure on him. Gabe, don't fuck up, he whispered, even though he didn't have to since we were the only ones in the party chat. Time was running out. We couldn't have another stalemate or else little Gabe wouldn't get his dessert in time. Little Gabe rushes it and takes cover. He sees a shimmering light across the map. He takes a peep to see what it was. It was too late. The light came from a sniper rifle, and little Gabe's character's head flew clean off. Jay was upset. Wow, you can't even see what's in front of you? What the hell was that, Gabe? Huh? Gabby? Huh, Gabby? Huh, Gubby? Gubz? Huh? Gubz! And after that, Jay started calling me by that name. So I didn't really come up with the name Gubz, my friend Jay did. It's a nickname for a nickname, and that's my story. Anyways, thank you everyone so much. That was a total of 116 questions, but that's not counting other users I showed asking the same question as someone else. Seriously, comments like these really let me know that you guys appreciate my work. You all are the best. The update I was talking about earlier regarding this channel is about school. I'm graduating this coming school year, so I can't slack off this year. That doesn't mean I won't be posting. It just means that I might have to dial it back a bit with the heavily researched videos, and I also may or may not be able to keep posting every week. It's still a possibility, but don't be surprised if I miss a week. Sorry, but thanks for understanding. Cheers for 20,000 subscribers though. Please smash that like button. I'd really appreciate that, and share my content with friends and family. For more of my videos, click right here. Stay awesome, everybody.